Welcome back to Some Bodies and Wicks, everybody, and thank you for watching my chart-hungry creatures, for always wanting some more technical analysis. Today we'll be going over the consolidation period of what is happening in crypto, and we should see you soon. All right, here we are back into it. It's Ted here with Some Bodies and Wicks, and even though yesterday I released that video, for some reason it got put on some kind of timer and it didn't get released till later today. But hopefully you caught some of yesterday's action of what I was talking about, the pullback where we are at now. And as in relation to where most of the charts are, especially when I went over Ethereum, Bitcoin, DOT, and Solana, and I think that was maybe one other I went over. But we're gonna go over some more today. Try to go over some more and see if they've reached where I thought they would reach, and to see what we could expect. But if you've seen my work and you do like my work, what I'd like you to do is go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. That would be awesome. And then we just should go ahead and get right into it. However, I don't think I forgot to put the charts up just yet. So hold on one second while that happens. So here we go. Properties real quick, and let's make sure we get these charts up. And boom, there we go. Okay, didn't take as long as I would think it would, so that is good. And get a little bit centered there. All right, perfect. And so first one that we are looking at, I actually want to take a look at BNB first, to see what we were looking at with this. I'm on the 15-minute. Let's go to the 4-hour, and let's see where we are at with this one. So it has dropped down and has almost made a double bottom. So this is not, well, I generally this is where people would start buying, right? And you would think that this is where it would start to take off again. I don't see that as this point. I see that as this is going to be going down. I see this as sell side liquidity right there. It came down, almost touched it. It's probably come up about halfway. I see it coming back down even further and hitting another bullish order block. Now let's see what kind of bullish order block. I would check the daily first, and it looks like the daily is just, it looks like it just now happened as we were sitting here. Well, I don't know if that just because I just went to the daily, or sometimes these charts do this. These charts will give you different answers every time you switch to a different time constraint. Let me check back to the 4th hour. See, it didn't go below it. I don't get it. I do not get it. But I would be looking for, you see this big 4-hour fair value gap down here. Boom, boom. That all the way across. I would be looking for something for it to come down into there. Probably hit somewhere right in the middle. It looks like this. It looks like there's a low, high, low scenario. Remember those we talked about yesterday? That would cause a breaker. That breaker would be right here in all of this. And that's where I would expect the price to come down to. And let's see about the 1 hour to see if the 1 hour may have somehow poked through as well. No, the 1 hour didn't poke through as well. I think the daily's off. So even though this looks like this could be right on, the the potential for it to be a support level. I don't think it's a support level. I think this is a trick. I think this is smart money trying to trick people into buying right now while they take it even lower, right? And that lower area, I'm going to give you the top spot of it, all right? Somewhere around 420, all right, 420.5, somewhere around in there, I think is where BNB is headed, okay? So, and the reason I think that is because it does have that fair value gap, that 4-hour fair value gap. And then you also have the 4-hour low, high, low scenario, which is the breaker. Oops, I accidentally moved that, which I don't even know if we need that anymore. Actually, I can probably get rid of that. And then I think once it hits that, then we should be up on our way. So if we wanted to look at a Fibonacci perspective of this, we'd use this as the bottom. All right, I want to use this as the top. And I mean, we are below the 61.8%, so we're definitely below the discounted level. But I think it could get even lower, below the 71.5, almost, maybe even almost to the 80. Because if you're looking at the last down candle before we go up, that would be your bullish order block, and we are on the hourly. That would be right here. So I'm gonna draw. Well, there's one way down here, but yeah, maybe it could. I'm gonna draw this one. So I'm gonna put this one as the bullish order block here, and that coordinate is 39.85. So we could be hitting anywhere between 425 or 420.5 and 398.5. So be careful, be wary of BNB right now, because I have a feeling that's what's happening, because it didn't make a higher high. It looks like it was in this 1 hour. There was a fair value gap here, okay, and we pull that across. It looks like it jumped into it a couple times, but it got rejected, and now it's shooting lower. And I think it's going to be heading for here, because this is where the sell side liquidity is. There's going to be a lot of people with buy limits resting right at this area, meaning that everybody's going to be thinking that it's a buy. They've already got their buy limit set. They probably got a short stop loss set. So smart money is probably going to dive deeper down into it to take those people out, take out their stop losses, take their money, because it's going to transfer from your money's hands, whoever has that stop loss, to their money's hands. All right, that's what these institutions do. So that's why I wanted to start with BNB today, because it looked like it was going to go lower. It looked like it had an area to where it looked like it was safe, and I wanted to let you guys know that it probably was not safe. So if I was a betting man, I would probably put a bet that it is probably going to end up somewhere in this area here. And I'm going to change the color of that box just to let you know. Let's make it yellow. Let's make it all yellowy. That's where I think it's probably going to end up, somewhere in this box before we finally see a takeoff. So I don't think we're out of the weeds just yet with the BNB. Let's check out DOT. I know yesterday I was saying the same thing. Here was the 3 levels I was looking at. It looks like it touched one of them, right? So if we look at the area over here to where we're looking at those order blocks, here is one of the biggest one, the main one that drops before it finally starts coming up. But then you also have another one here, right? And then right here, this middle one is actually more of the breaker. So if we drop here, if we have this as a low, this as a low, this as a high, this as a lower low, we're looking at this whole spectrum here. actually as the breaker. We're looking at that as the breaker. But I think we're already on that line. And let's see if we are actually anywhere near it or below it already. It looks like it's touched it. And it looks like maybe dot may be trying to get away from it. So it looks like the breaker may have been saving dot. Now dot has been making higher highs. We do have equal highs, fairly equal highs right here, which is good. So that means there is liquidity resting right above here, which means that people have sell limits and buy stops both set right around this area, right? So what I would think that this is going to do, if it does reach any lower, it could get down to these three areas again, 24.16, maybe 24.02, maybe even as low as 23.95 before it starts pulling up bullish. But I think it may actually turn around soon, because this right here, let me see if I can't pull a horizontal ray to this right here. That right there could be a rejection block, because it doesn't look like we've had any kind of body close below that line in the 15-minute. Let's see if it's had any in the 1 hour. No, none in the 1 hour. In the 4 hour, no, none in the 4 hour. So that could be a rejection block that we could be looking at, and it looks like it's touching it right now, actually, interestingly enough. Turn it on at the right exact time, and it looks like it's getting rejected. So that could be a rejection block, even though we do have this little pin bar right here. See, a lot of people think the pin bar means that it's going to go the opposite direction, just because, it went down all this way and then it came back up and all the volume's right here, so it's going to keep going up. No, don't be fooled by pin bars, guys. Don't be fooled by pin bars. You got to look at the opposite direction of the chart to see what is actually going on. Now, the thing about the pin bar is it did hit a bullish order block, but it went below that level. So since it got below the bullish order block, that tells me that it could end up getting lower, which it did. But considering this low right here, it looks like over here would be your bullish order block right here, because nothing has gotten below this one, right? So this whole red candle, your last down candle before your candle that goes up above and closes above, then this pulls back down into the bullish order block, and then boom, takes off from there. So then after that, we've had a high. Didn't get as high as since it fell, but it did consolidate in this area, kind of dropped a little bit, tried to come back up, got to about the same area, and then that's what creates that false resistance, and lets people think, oh no, once it gets back up to this level again, it's going to drop again. I don't think that's going to happen. I think once it gets back up to this level again, it will drop, but then it's going to drop probably to this candle here, this green candle here, and then continue on upwards. So if I was to go ahead and put a path on this, I would say this right here is a good rejection block. We're going to see it come up. We'll probably see it get somewhat stopped up in this area, maybe make a little bit of a pullback, and come back up, probably touch the bottom of this, make a little bit of a pullback, and as you can see, you have a low, high, low situation again. So this candle right here would be your breaker. So it stopped probably in the midway of the breaker, probably pull back up, get to about this area here to where everything is equal, stop, pull back again to again that low, high, low situation, another breaker, pull back into this breaker, and then pull back out of here. That's what I think is going to happen here with DOT. That's what's looking like to me. So, am I right? We're going to move on to Solana. Let's see what's happening with Solana. Solana has taken out sell-side liquidity here. Looks like it has taken out sell-side liquidity here as well. So now let's see if it's anywhere near any sell-side liquidities at the current moment. No, because the next one in line would I don't even know if I would consider it sell-side liquidities. Let's check out the 4-hour. This is just mainly a consolidation point. So I don't think it wants to stay in this consolidation point very long. If anything, it may drop below. Oops, wrong one. May drop below maybe this line right here, not this one. That one right there. Just because there's too much, there's too much consolidation in through here. There's not a lot of consolidation below this line. So if anything, it could drop below this. And if it did drop below this, I wouldn't expect it to stay there long. I would think it would want to try to come out soon, and then possibly start finding a place in this area here, wherever, because there is this somewhere in this area here, because there, even though you do have a little bit of consolidation here, it's not a whole lot. It's also in a fair value gap, in an hour or 4-hour fair value gap. I would think that would be the resting place that it would want to try to reach. But it doesn't seem like there is, a lower spot that it does want to get to. It may get lower. And like I said, if it does, I think that would be the level that it would get to. That price is 128, 167. But then again, you got to mark out all these lows to see if it's going to try to hit any of them, or at least all of them. It could attack all of these lows, because any of these lows people would consider, an area for it to be resistance or support. An area for it to be support. So they can consider this support. They could consider this support. Retail could consider this support. Who knows what retail would consider support? They could consider all three support. So if they do, it would probably go through at least one of each of the three, if not all three. And if it does go through all three, again, this area down here, there's not a whole lot of consolidation around through here, so it could hang around through there for a while, or it could just touch, maybe go through those lines, and then jump back up, and then find a resting area back up in here. All right, and the reason I always try to find areas and resting areas is, again, and I've told you guys about this before, is because of the market maker buy sell model. So if we're going to look this up, I showed you this before, but this is how I think, and because this is the way markets work, and it's the market maker buy sell model. All you have to look up, and generally you will find a good example of one. Here is one right here. I mean, in general theory, this is it right here, right? You find an area, another area, you get to one area, and the whole point is to see this green area here is to start here, but to end here, right? Just so you can make a little more money shorting, than you would if you were to long something. But you have to long it first before you can short it, and then you would make more money shorting than you would longing. So that's kind of the whole premise of the market maker buy-sell model. All right, so now we're moving on with Matic. Matic has been interesting to say the least. I made this call on TradingView, and I've left it up. And I'm not for sure what's going to happen with it because the same situation. It could try to get below this spike here, and the spike that lands on. Let's see here. Let's see here, 202 basically, 2021, $2.02. But there was the equal lows all the way through here, and then right now it's dropping below that. But it's also pulling itself back up. And in the 1 hour, it has balanced itself the entire way up and down, even though it did have some huge drops. It also pulled itself up really, really big, and then starts moving over and gets to an area to where it stops, and maybe we'll see if it's going to continue or not. Because if I look over to the left, this is where I am looking at. It has hit the last bullish order block, right? So on the 1 hour chart, well, let me see here. It would be this red candle here. At least that's where I think is the last bullish, but it could be aiming for down here too. Just below all of that. So that would be your last down candle before you have your up candle. And so far, nothing has actually come down and came into that area, except for, it looks like it's come down into this candle. Maybe not so much. I think it maybe have over here. Yeah, it has over here. So it's come down, it's hit the bullish order block that I just referenced, and then pulled back up. Now we're seeing if this is going to come down and maybe try to hit it as well. And then here, all this, this whole big drive down is one big bearish order block, or one big bullish order block, I should say. So this actually came down in, and it looks like it has gotten to at least more than halfway through of this bullish order block, which is why I don't think that this area right here is much of a concern, as well as it's come down and hit this bullish order block too. And even if it did, if you put the candle right there, if you put the bullish order block right here, even this candle has come back and touched that top of that bullish order block and then continued on. So I think all of this is safe, balanced. It's all good and well. Now we're just looking at this area right here, but it has already touched it, and it may just be looking to come down maybe even a little bit further. I'm not for sure before it continues on upward. It has entered all three of my entries. I am definitely in this one because I think Matic will eventually pull itself out and get above and about probably halfway through this bearish order block here. If not, at least above almost these equal highs right here. You have 1, 2, 3, almost 3 equal highs. That price is probably going to come up to pull down, pull up to pull down. It's going to kind of kind of, you know, play with it for a little bit before it finally takes off. So, but we got a long ways to go before that happens. So we will see, because as you can see, whenever it did actually pull up and get up above my entry level, that entry level was about halfway through a fair value gap. So if I were to do this and go over, look at that. You can see how this candle got about halfway through that fair value gap. To be precise, about halfway through. Let's throw a Fibonacci on it and look at it a lot closer. It got exactly halfway through. Look at that. 50% exactly. That green candle got exactly halfway through that fair value gap. That's why I tell you guys to measure these things, especially once you get fair value gaps, because these things will come up to it halfway through exactly. I mean, this is what smart money is all about. It's all about knowing that algorithm. And that algorithm is knowing that it is halfway through something and before it pulls back. Right? Price is not random in smart money. Price is 100% right on the dot. It's not a secret. They know what they're doing. These people with these deep pockets, they use the algorithm to their advantage, and they leave little hints here and there, and we just gotta kind of have to follow through and see what they're gonna do with it. All right, next up, Ethereum. Ethereum, remember I said it would probably drop down into this area here, and it did. And I said it would probably come up to this breaker and then fall. And I thought it would probably maybe hit this order block and then take off. Looks like that didn't happen. Looks like it came up, maybe almost hit this breaker. And then, well, it looks like it tried to take off from this order block. But then it fell down. And like I said, if we didn't see that, it would probably fill this fair value gap that it had left behind. Believe, yeah, there was a daily fair value gap that this is, which means that there was a day. If we go back to the daily, oops, didn't mean to move that. Yeah, there it is. From here to here, there's the two candles that left that big gap open. Of course, it's almost filled that daily gap completely full, which is good. Now that it's almost filled that, you know, fair value gap, which what I think is probably going to happen, which is what happens with most of these fair value gaps, it will fill all the way. So I would expect it to probably get even a little bit lower, maybe even hit this this order block here that was actually on the hourly, which is at the price of about 3,029. And then that's when we may start seeing the shift back up. So we could still see some sideways action here from Ethereum. Watch out for it to maybe possibly get down to about 3,029 and then start moving back up. Again, I don't see it coming back down here to this weekly fair value gap or this breaker, this daily breaker that we have down here. I don't think we're going to see that happen. I think we're just going to see it pull back down into this area, maybe, like I said, that 3,029 before we see any more of it take off. Let me put a Fibonacci on it here really quickly, and let's see what we got going on. Find the last low before the high. Pull it down. There's the high. I don't think that was the last low. Sometimes you got to get in a little bit closer for this thing to understand where you're talking about, where you want it to be. I guess that's not a tail. Okay, maybe it was a tail. There we go. All right, let's do that. So we got it at the bottom of this green candle here. Tops up here. Where has it fallen back to as far as percentage wise? Below the 80%. Look, it even touched the 88.6%. My favorite, as soon as it touches that 88.6%, it turns around and goes the other way. I mean, you just can't get any more precise than that. It touches that exact 88.6%. I've told you to put on your Fibonacci's because that is probably the deepest that it usually will go before smart money starts putting in all their buys, right? So a lot of buying took place right here from smart money, and they're probably accumulating a lot of buys right now too. I wouldn't be surprised, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they're waiting for it to try to make, a couple hours later, we might see it fall down to here, and then a ton of buys happen right here at this area, at this 3029, and then as soon as that happens, then we start seeing the movement back up, movement back up and out. All right, Bitcoin. Let's get to the 4 hour of it. Why did it move that all of a sudden? It just took something I didn't even want it to move and just start moving it. All right, let's try this all over again. Getting that sell side liquidity that I talked about yesterday, and all those equals. Did it put? Yeah, it punched through it. Yesterday, I think it was just a little bit above it. Let me zoom in a little bit more on it here. 1, 2, 3. So this happened. Yep, definitely happened after I recorded the video from yesterday. So it came back and hit that sell side liquidity point. What is the low here that we got? The low is 40571. And what is this actual sell side liquidity point? 40683. So it actually got a little bit lower. So it did dip into that sell side liquidity point just by a little bit, though, not by a whole lot. That doesn't give me a lot of confidence that it's going to spring up and out of here. It would give me a little bit more confidence as if it came down to about halfway into that, from that point to this low here. That's what would give me a little bit more confidence in saying, hey, this thing is actually probably getting up and out of here. Or if not, it could actually try to get below this guy here, which would be at around 39,600. So I think maybe 39,500 or something like that is what we could be looking at, just because that is a institutional number. 500s, 800s, 200s, those kind of numbers are institutional numbers. We could be seeing it come down, hit that, and then that's when it could finally take off. So all of these are kind of acting the same. It seems like they still do have some kind of lower objective to try to hit, to try to take more sell side liquidity from people. So be wary of every single one of these of charts that I just went over. Now, how will you know when you're in the clear? Well, once we get above and beyond, one of these high areas, like let's take for dot, for instance. So you see these two equal highs. I think once we finally have something that's going to close above that, I think we're finally in the clear. I think we're finally safe. B and B, what would make us safe from that? The short-term swing high right here, because look, there's two equal highs on this one. And let me turn this off. See those two short-term equal highs? I think if we had something that came up and went above that and closed above that, I think we're in the clear, which would be about 575. If we got above that and cleared that and closed on like an hourly basis, maybe even a 4-hourly basis, we'd be in the clear. Dot, I already did dot. Solana, I think once, and Solana is a really high up one. That's the only thing is that, I mean, to really be in the clear, we'd have to get above about 180, somewhere around there. But I think once it starts making its way toward this 155 level to about 166 level, if it consolidates in there, I think that's where we're going to be safe to say that it should start, to be bullish again. Or what it could do is it could pull back up in this area, stay here for a little bit, and then drop again. It could do that too. So, but be careful with Solana. So, Matic, I think once again, it gets above this local high of about 228, 229, somewhere around in there. If it touches the top of this fair value gap, if I can get it open here, which would be 232, and doesn't pull back a whole lot and then starts moving up again, I think we're in the clear. So watch out for 232 for Matic. Ethereum, man, I don't know. Ethereum is another good one. I would like to see it get back above 390 or 3900, and kind of stay there and hopefully consolidate in this area. In that area right there. If it can consolidate there, that would be awesome. But I think it's going to take at least maybe another week for it to do that. But I think it could probably drop again to that 3029 area. But then again, who knows? Once it hits that 3029 area, that could be a catalyst for it to just shoot up all the way up into this area that's near 4,000 or something like that. So that would be awesome. Bitcoin, again, I still think we might see this thing have a drop below, this 4,700 level around that it's kind of put a sell side liquidity line around. Could drop down below that, almost to about 4,000 or so. And then once it jumps back up, and I think it gets to probably this area here, this 48,800 level. It's a very, very good institutional number, is the 800s. So 48,800, somewhere around in there. If it gets above that, I think that's when we start seeing a lot of more bullish potential, more bullish momentum. But it could just be getting up into this 4-hour breaker too, which could be anywhere between the 4,400 and 4,500 basically. If it gets up into that area and then kind of consolidates, then we could see it kind of pull back, hit the breaker that's sitting right there, right? Pull back, hit that breaker, and then pop on up back up into that big area right there above that 48,800 level. So. That's it. That's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you learned something. That's all I got. That's what I do. Try to get through things as quick as possible. And hopefully you guys understood what I'm saying. And hopefully you understood the smart money aspect of it, about what the bankers try to do, about what the institutions try to do with the charts to try to fake you out, to make you think that you're going to be safe going one way whenever you're not. Right? Because if you started buying all these right now thinking that you're okay, boom, they start taking you out because they know that they can go lower. They know that they can force things to go lower. And so I'm just wanting you all to be wary of that. And if you think I do a good job, I do have where is it? There it is. So that would be my donations page in case anybody wants to donate to me. I'm going by nothing here. I'm just going by there's like a saying for this. They're flying off the seat of your feet or something like that. I don't know. I have no idea what they're talking about. But yeah. Just be careful. Hopefully you take everything I say to heart and watch all these charts very closely, because I think all these could do exactly what I think exactly what I said they could be doing. So keep all that in mind. Keep your eyes open. Keep your ears open. Don't get caught with your pants down, because remember to always wear your pants. Right? Right? That's why I thought. Always wear your pants.